first child, my only son, Lennon Georgie Ruffles, was born 12 weeks premature in 2006. After spending 6 months in various neonatal intensive care units, Lennon finally came home requiring oxygen, tube feeding, and he was hooked up to various monitors. It was not the start to his life or to parenthood that we had expected. Lennon was oxygen dependent and was fed through a tube. He had kidney failure, he required multiple medications throughout the day and night. He regularly stopped breathing, and on occasion he needed me to resuscitate him at home. Lennon was also diagnosed as being deaf-blind. Caring for Lennon was an immense responsibility, and at times I felt completely out of my depth. The pressure was enormous and all-consuming. I love Lennon and I would do absolutely anything for him. Nothing was too much. I gave up my life to look after Lennon to keep him alive. I quit my much-loved career, hardly saw my friends, and rarely left the house or Lennon's hospital bedside. The short amounts of time we did get to spend at home were fraught with anxiety and worry. Lennon was admitted to intensive care for the 5th time when he was 2 years old. He was very poorly. He had contracted bronchiolitis and sepsis. His insides had failed on Christmas Eve and he was surviving on intravenous nutrition. The outlook was bleak, and the doctors had asked Lennon's father, Ian, and I to consider withdrawing Lennon's life support and ending his difficult and problematic life. We were both horrified at the very thought of life without our little soldier. I wanted so much more for him. I yearned for him to experience life, joy, excitement, and happiness. And I wanted others to experience the elation that came along with Lennon's achievements, and for him to leave a footprint on the lives of others, just as he had on our lives. Of course, we said no. Lennon would be the one to decide when he no longer had the energy to survive. And in the moment the word no left my mouth, I made a vow to Lennon and myself that his life would be as rich and fulfilled as possible. Lennon slowly improved and eventually he came home. I spent the next 8 years researching and planning the most amazing experiences for Lennon and making memories for our family. Yes, he was life limited, but why should that be a reason to stop someone from experiencing a full rainbow of life? And boy, it didn't. We took Lennon swimming as much as we possibly could. Changing Lennon's dressings, keeping an eye on his dropping blood sugars, and keeping him warm was difficult, but his excitement and enthusiasm to be in the water made all the stress of the situation melt away. We went ice skating as a family every year on Lennon's birthday in December. It became a family tradition. Lennon absolutely loved ice skating, and the faster the better. He was a real thrill seeker. We fundraised and we purchased a walking frame and a special bike. Lennon spent hours toddling around in his walking frame when he was well, and the bike was incredible. It was a life changer for Lennon. Ian were taken for long bike rides, speeding through long, windy country lanes, Lennon flapping his arms and screaming with delight. I found a company who provided ski lessons to people with a disability. This was a little trickier and took a hell of a lot of planning. Lennon's complex condition meant that his body disagreed with cold temperatures, but we found ways to work around that. Skiing soon became a favourite activity for Lennon. Neither Ian or I have ever skied, yet our disabled son has. We desperately wanted to take Lennon to Disneyland Paris, and we knew he would love it. But Lennon's medical team at Great Orme Street did not want us to leave the country without trained medical support. In 2015, we travelled to Walt Disney World in Florida. We made it happen, and it was the trip of a lifetime. It took months of planning, and we travelled with almost 50 kilos of medical supplies, a medical team, a file jam-packed with notes, letters from doctors, and emergency plans. But it was so worth the planning. His permanent beaming face on that trip will remain imprinted in my memory forever. Lennon died on the 3rd of August 2017. It was Lennon's time. His exhausted little body had run out of fight. We had talked about the final stages of Lennon's life many times. Palliative care gave us the knowledge to make educated decisions over time and not to have to make quick choices during the hardest moments of our lives. We had always hoped that Lennon would die at our children's hospice, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. But because of the amazing team at the hospital and the hospice, Lennon made his final journey to the children's hospice less than 12 hours after he died. And he stayed there until his funeral. I could not have gotten through those days without the help and support of the incredible hospice staff. They helped us to organise Lennon's funeral and cancel the wedding that Ian and I had planned for the next 6 weeks. They spent time with him when I was not there. They read to him, sang to him, and brushed his silky smooth hair. They couldn't have done more, they went above and beyond. And yes, Lennon did make an immeasurable impact on the lives of everyone he met. He is remembered by many as the boy with the Midas touch. Our story is not unique. Every day, families like ours have to face the heartbreaking news that their child will die young, and no family should face this journey alone. No family should feel isolated or have to fight for the care they need. And that's why Together for Short Lives is so vital, and they're for families like mine, to make sure that they get the best care when and where they need it. And that care is a lifeline, the difference between coping and not coping. Because of that care, it allowed us to make the right choices for Lennon, and we will be eternally grateful for those 8.5 years. 8.5 years filled with joy, excitement and happiness. Lennon's fun-packed life proves that palliative care is not about giving up. There are ways to live your life in the capacity and the time that you have to the maximum. You can all do something amazing by supporting the vital work of Together for Short Lives. It's there for families going through the unimaginable. By supporting Together for Short Lives tonight, you will be helping families like mine to make the most of every moment, no matter how short life is. Thank you.